Francesca.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura.
And welcome to Novel Nights. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Novel Nights. We are popping in for our most anticipated books of 2025. Before we get going, just to let you know, this is a pre-recording. So if you're commenting and we're not responding, we're not ignoring you. We're just on holiday, but we are dedicated to giving you content, okay? So we are showing up. Laura, how's it going?
I am in Puerto Rico. I just landed about a couple hours ago, so very new setup with Puerto Rican art. And so warm weather, good food, just ready for a Puerto Rican Christmas holiday.
Yay, love the good vibes. Fran, how are things over there? We know you had a bit of an accident.
Yep. It's been very quiet around here. I've been in bed most of the time. So hopefully that won't last long, but yeah. Took a little bit of a tumble, slight tumble.
Yes. I mean, we're kind of busy. We have a lot going on this holiday season.
Yeah.
I have 2 weeks off. So I'm grateful for the 2 weeks off at the end of the year. So Christmas week, New Year's week, I should be decompressing, but I'm doing all the homey things. So lots of homey things. Again, pre-recording. What's behind me will be changing, but that's a story for another day. Again, today we're really excited to be sharing 2025 most anticipated books. I'm going to jump right in and share my recommendations. So the ladies are going to be hopping off. And let me start by saying the books I'm sharing that are most anticipated are books I have not read yet, because I've been reading books for my reading guide. So just in case you don't already know, the winter reading guide is out and available. It's exclusively on Substack. So head over to Substack so you can get yourself a copy. However, these are the books I haven't read yet. So the first one I have up is Carly Fortune. I'm really excited to see what this new book is all about. I've been enjoying Carly Fortune tons. So really excited about that. I hate to say it, but yes, I am looking forward to the Emily Henry. I want to see what is in this new book. But I would like to say, I think the one I'm most excited about is actually Gold Coast Dilemma by Nana Malone. I'm really excited because I love the idea of like a Ghanaian American heiress having, to decide what direction she's going to go in her life. So that's very fascinating. So I would like to say those are like the three big romance books I'm looking forward to reading. Of course, there are tons. And like I said, I've already read some. So you can see the ones I've read and loved in my reading guides. Now, more fantasy-ish kind of books. So some are science fiction, some are fantasy. I'm really excited for Eowyn Ivy. Now, you might know this author's name because they wrote Snow Child, which is one of my favorite books. Highly recommend reading Snow Child for winter if you haven't already. I'll probably reread it. This one is supposed to be a Beauty and the Beast reimagining. So again, really excited. And the thing with this author, they set their books in Alaska. So I'm really excited to go back to Alaska in this new book. I'm also really excited for Sunrise on the Reaping. Yes, I'm a Hunger Games girly, love the books, but more importantly, we are getting the point of view of Haymitch. So we're seeing a young Haymitch when Haymitch competed. So it's a prequel to the Hunger Games, if you will. So I'm really excited for that. I'm also a big Stephen King fan. So, of course, looking forward to the next Stephen King coming out this summer. It's called Never Flinch, and this is supposed to be a revenge story, and we might be getting familiar characters, so I'm really looking forward to that. Now, when it comes to mysteries, I'm really excited for S.A. Cosby, mysteries and thrillers. S.A. Cosby does those gritty Southern noir books. Like, I personally feel, I'm going to give it to the man, king of Southern kind of thrillery noir. Southern thrillery noir, yes. King. So I'm really excited for this one because it's supposed to be like a Godfather inspired crime book. And again, it's going to be Southern because that's S.A. Cosby's brand. So really excited for that. In historical fiction, I am looking forward to Victoria Christopher Moray's Harlem Rhapsody. Now, this is coming out early in the year. Haven't read it yet. I was hoping to have got my hands on it to read it for the guide. Didn't work out. But this one is supposed to focus on the Harlem Renaissance, as you know, the title suggests. So I'm really excited about that. So those are my books. Y'all let me know, what are you thinking? Let me see who, I can't get Laura back up. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Those are my books. Any overlap?
I'm so excited about the Nana Malone as well. I think
Yeah.
it sounds so fun, and I love the cover. As soon as I had seen the cover, this was already a little while ago, and I'm like, oh my god, I love it. So
Yeah.
I think that is definite must on my list. And I hadn't seen the Harlem Rhapsody, and I love to read about that time period too. So I'm like, oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Harlem Rhapsody. I'm also excited for the Hunger Games because Haymitch is
Yeah,
actually my favorite character.
yeah,
And so I really want to hear his story, his side of the story, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, I want to kind of see him compete, because the thing is, we know the man how we know the man, right?
Yeah.
He's very crass, but I always felt it's for good reason. We really didn't get much of his backstory, so I would love to see a younger version of him. You know, young, idealistic, you know,
yeah,
maybe in love, just all the things before obviously this very horrific thing happens. So
yeah,
yeah, really excited.
yeah.
All right, Laura.
All right, so I am next. So I have 5 books that I read and one book that I'm looking forward to it. So I vetted these out. So the first book is Summer in the City, which will be, I think it will be a big title for the summertime. It's coming to hardcover. It has a map inside. It has straight edges. It's beautiful. I read the book. It's a billionaire and a screenwriter living it up in New York City. So if you're a fan of New York City summer rom-coms, this book is for you. It's set in all the things, my favorite parts of New York City. And I'm a person who lives in the city and gets annoyed when they get it wrong, and she got it right. So Summer in the City is a fun rom-com, just a good escape for it. It's a great beachy read. The next one is a mystery rom-com. I got a mix of rom-coms and mystery rom-coms. So mystery rom-coms is Pamela Afton can so solve a murder. So imagine if Paris Hilton's grandmother dies and takes her and basically kicks her out of the trust fund unless she solves her grandmother's murder. That's the story. And it's just delightful. Again, set in New York City. Bellamy Rose is also Amanda Elliott. She has a couple rom-coms. They're awesome foodie rom-coms. This one has some foodie elements, but it's just like a fun thing about, like Eris trying to solve a murder, and people think that she won't be able to do it. And she maybe does it. So it's a fun one to do. The next one is She Doesn't Have a Clue by Jenny Elder Mocha. I think that's her name. This was a lockdown mystery where they're all set, an ex and her are set to go to a wedding. And I think it's her ex-fiance's wedding, and it's some publishing dilemma and everything. And it's basically mishaps are happening in the house. There's a missing panther or someone who owns the place, and there's an heiress who is a recluse and doesn't want to be part of it, and people die, and there's just a whole lot of shenanigans. So it's a fun one. It's a lockdown. The different pieces, the graphics in there, it shares a clue of what is happening in this lockdown mystery. And it's set in Pacific Northwest. The next one is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. So I read this while I lost power in the hurricane. I think Helene was a hurricane, or Milton. I don't know. There were too many hurricanes. And I was surprised how much I liked this one. This one says 18 to 20-year-olds. So they're actually in college. We do see cameos for the Love Hypotheses. Hero and heroines there. They're professors, and it's kind of cute. This is a diving romance, so there's heavy on the diving. So if you're new to diving or curious about diving, you learn about the basics and the specifics. She has the twisties, or what Simone Biles had in Olympics, and so she has to overcome them. And he's an Olympic swimmer, and it's angsty. I know it's been marketed wrong, so it's not forbidden. It is not BDSM. It's none of that stuff. It's just the angsty sports romance, college students, acting the way they're supposed to do. that's how I should do it. It's not forbidden. So just if you're looking for forbidden romance, this is not it. But it's a great story. If it's market perfect, better. So the next one is another mystery rom-com. Is No One Was Supposed to Die at This Wedding. This is the follow-up from every time I go on vacation, someone dies. It's a mystery rom-com. It's a cozy mystery author who basically they're doing a movie based on her previous book, and they have a party, and her best friend is about to get married. She's the star of the show, and they say she gets a letter saying someone's going to die at this wedding, and they have to uncover, and people die, and it's just like a set in a hurricane in Pasadena, like a freak hurricane happening, and they're just stranded in this island. With a wedding. So it is fun. There's a lot of footnotes. I think this is a style if you're reading it, but if you get an audio, it might be a much more enjoyable experience. So if you are not a fan of footnotes, wait for the audiobook, enjoy this experience. And then the final book I have not read, but I've read all the other books in the series. It's King of Envy. Anna Huang. I actually prefer listening to these because they're duet. So the male narrator narrates all the male parts, the female narrator shows the female parts. This is she's returned to morally great hero, so the other ones are not. So if you're like a morally great hero who's maybe like an alpha and a billionaire and maybe just rough around the edges, this might be your book. So King of Envy. There's a couple of pre-order offers at different indies. Anyone just released that information. So if you want to buy it and get some pre-order things, check out your local indies. You might be able to get those. So those are my books.
Those cozy mysteries sounded so good.
Yes, I co-sign that because that's I was like, okay, interested. Next, interesting.
Yeah.
I the one about the heiress and solving the murder,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, done. And then the other one about no one was supposed to die, it kind of reminds me of those Benjamin Stevenson mystery thriller names. So I didn't read that first one. So I'm like, oh, I need to go read that first one and then double back on this new one because it sounded so fun.
Yeah, that one you need to read the first one because it makes sense of the story. And it's the first one set in Italy. Both are great beach vacation books. You can both binge on them. They're great just to escape from it. They're set in lush locations like Italy and I think Catalina Island. That's where it is.
Okay. Love that. Awesome. All right. So Fran will be sharing next. Fran, what do you have for us?
So for my most anticipated of 2025, I have a long list, but I wanted to make sure I highlighted today books that were not like the well-known authors. I do have to put a slight mention, although I'm not necessarily talking about them here today, for Caught Up by Navessa Allen and Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver, because I did talk about both of those books as my favorites of the year in the previous Novel Nights show, and they do have new books coming out in those series. So honorable mention. But the first one that I'm going to talk about is My Funny Demon Valentine by Aurora Asher. So this is a paranormal romance with demons. And it actually caught my eye because the blurb of it is pitched as for fans of Bryn Weaver and Kimberly Lemming. So I do love both of those. So I'm like, okay, sold. That's it. Like I don't need to know anything else. But I really love the fact that it's about the Prince of Hell, and him and his brothers basically escape from hell because he wants to be a jazz musician, and they come to Earth so that he can achieve his dream. And he meets a violinist at a bar while trying to get a gig, and she is a human technically, but she can see his demon form. So I think that sounds like so much fun. Like, I don't know what it is about that whole scenario, but I'm like, I'm sold. I have to read it. So that's for my paranormal romance take. The next one is a historical, and it's Earl Crush by Alexandra Vasti. This is a author that I discovered this year. I am really excited to read more from her series. This is about a kind of like a radical woman that writes pamphlets and stuff. And she's been corresponding with this Earl for a long time. And she gets a letter from this Earl about all his financial woes. And so she decides that she's going to offer him a marriage of convenience to solve his issues. So she travels to Scotland to offer him that. And when she gets there, he's never heard of this woman. He has no idea who she is. And it turns out it's because his brother is the one that's been corresponding with her, pretending to be him. And now they have to go and find him. So that sounds like a lot of shenanigans and a lot of fun. And that's kind of what I've read from Alexandra Vasti from this year. So I'm excited to read this one. It sounds really fun, like a cute historical rom-com. The next one is by Jude Deveraux, and I don't think I've read a fantasy from her, so I'm interested on this one. It's Order of Swans by Jude Deveraux. I have read some of her contemporaries, historicals, even a cozy mystery by her. So fantasy is something I haven't seen before. So I'm excited for this one. It's about a human PhD student, and she is like specializing in folklore, and she takes this trip with her friend to what she thought was like some remote island, and it turns out that she's actually traveling to this whole new world. And once she reaches there, she is basically tasked with joining this search party for the royal prince that is missing. So it sounds interesting. I don't know what to expect with this one, but I have really enjoyed Jude Deveraux. I mean, she's a staple, especially in the romance genre. So I'm super excited to see what this one is all about. The next one is The Shots You Take by Rachel Reed. This is a sports hockey romance. And if you guys have read her Heated Rivalry book, it's probably one of the staples when it comes to male sports hockey romance. It's one of my favorites. And this one is going to be a standalone as far as I can tell. It's about two teammates, ex-teammates. So they both play hockey. And one of them had to retire, so about like 10 years before. But while they were playing together, they were from the same town. They were best friends, and they were friends with benefits. And then everything abruptly ended. And then one of them retired, moved back home. And now there's some tragedy that happens, and the other one has to come back to this small town, and they reconnect and kind of like try to cure the wrongs that were done. So I'm super excited for this one. I think that Rachel Reed writes really well. Anything that comes with mixing steam, but also emotion. So again, super excited for this one. I have really high hopes. And then my last one is If Not My Baby by Kate Golden. I recently discovered this one. So Kate Golden, I've known her for fantasy romance, and this is a contemporary. Now, what I found really interesting about this one and made me immediately add it to my TBR and my most anticipated is the fact that this is a rock star romance inspired by Hosier. So she basically inspired, the hero is completely inspired by Hosier, and it is the romance between him and one of his backup singers. So it's a woman that has basically given up on her dreams of a singing career or anything like that. And she gets a call to participate in the first US tour of this new artist. And a romance ensues while they're together on this 8-week trip tour. So I'm excited for it. I think it sounds really fun. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, did she get like permission from Hosier to do that? I don't, whatever. I think it's probably really fun. It's kind of like reading fan fiction. So I think it will be interesting. So those are my 5 most anticipated.
Those sound really good. And I just want to say, I read Earl's Crush. I read that one. I loved it. It was really, really good. So if you're watching and you have my shortlist, you already know it's on there. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It reminded me of Virginia Heath because Virginia had Never Rescue a Rogue. And I share that book as a comp title for Earl Crush. It was really fun. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I did research you if it was the same Jude Deveraux from the 80s. And it was like, yes, it's her. She's writing fantasy. I'm like, girl's working overtime. I want to be her when I grow up. And that later in life, like, we're going to try a new genre. We're going to try a new thing. Like,
I love that. I love that. Like, I think the last Jude Deveraux I read was probably in 2020, and it was like a cozy mystery or something like that. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I'll get it. I mean, it's all of these are basic, almost all are sitting on my Kindle. So I'm like, I need to start reading.
Yes. Oh my gosh, everyone. Again, remember, this is our pre-recorded episode, so we can show up for you during the week of Christmas. So whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, any other holiday I don't remember, don't cancel me. happy holidays, or no holidays if you don't do holidays as well. So whatever it is that floats your boat, yes, sending you all the good vibes. We will be coming back to talk about reading goals, share some reading challenges, and just everything New Year-ish with you as well. So keep an eye out. We'll be sharing our video, same time, same place. Join us Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. New York time. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And the links for all the things or book lists and more, where to find us on Substack, will be in the video's description. All right, everyone. Happy holidays.
Bye.